again, thank you very much to all the panelists who gave us insights, shared experience, and let us know what are their points of view on different aspects of food security. So I try to wrap up in a couple of minutes what is the outcome of this meeting. Let me first quote from Schengen's keynote: "We can end hunger and undernutrition by 2025. There are 11 years to go, and my brain says no. The heart says yes, in some. To quote another prominent person, yes, we can. So let's do it, and I think it's worth trying. But to achieve this objective, there are a number of conditions to be met, and I'd like to highlight 3 dimensions for these conditions. I think in common, what all the panelists pointed out, there is need for action, there is need to speed up the process, and I think some of you pointed what is politics, what is policy, what is technology, what is the role of different actors on the scene. So let me come first to the political level. I think it was clear that there is no externally induced development in our different partner countries, in developing countries and emerging economies alike. But we rely for these food security politics on the commitment of governments of developing countries and emerging economies. This is crucial for success. But we know that donors still have a big interest in influencing and setting conditions, and sometimes the commitment and the policies, be it zero hunger in some countries or so on, is not easily understandable, because these strategies are not standardized, they are not always harmonized, they follow local, nation-specific conditions. So I think there's a lot of must be done at the level of the donors. My question that remains is, what will happen to fragile and failed states? Do we have the right intervention schemes? Can we rely in these cases on the commitment on these different governments, or do we need other ways to overcome hunger and undernutrition in these countries? So this is a question, and I think more efforts will be necessary in the future. The second dimension, I think that's the societal or the individual level. There is a need to change. I think this has become clear from the discussion. There is a need to change attitudes and behavior and the consumption patterns in particular, but not only in industrialized countries. Not only because of the ecological footprint, but as well because the lifestyle of Western countries is an example, and an example that's very attractive and that is broadcasted to the globe. I think this is important. Dirk Messner, he said there's a high leverage effect. My question is, are we strong enough to lift this lever? I remember, because in our management board I'm responsible for our personnel and for the staff committees, and I remember when we wanted to introduce a veggie day within GIZ, there was a strong discussion with the representatives of our employees, and they said, okay, we can do that, but at least a curry sausage must be provided on the menu, so during the veggie day. So I think this is a very, very tough and delicate question, and this is not only within families, but I think within our companies and institutions, they must be addressed. And it's very, very difficult to change behavior. We heard about that, not only in families. And who will lead this advocacy campaign? Who will make the necessary publicity? And who will inform the media? And I think there's a big word of consumers' autonomy that is always used to let's say, to prevent us from introducing this kind of strange things. Okay, let me come to the third dimension, that's private sector or the business level. We heard that there are smart technologies available, that the smart use of these technologies has been proved, the evidence is given, cases can be demonstrated, and the business is ready to deliver. All these technologies are ready on the shelves. The question for me is, how can small farmers, perhaps they are too small to reach these high shelves, how can this access be granted to this strata of the population in different developing countries, or how can these groups be empowered to have access to these technologies and new technologies? Is this only a task for NGOs, or should others be interested? I think these were three dimensions, in my view, who have been dealt with in the discussion. It was interesting that no question was raised with regards to science and research, but I think scientists and researchers who are in this room will have enough food for thought and to find fields of research for the future. I'd like to thank once again very much Schengen for his keynote, our panelists for their very wise and interesting inputs and contributions, to Rajul for a very smooth but results-oriented facilitation of this panel, to the GIZ and IFPRI staff for organizing and preparing this meeting, to our other helping hands who organized the microphones and for the streaming of this event. And I'd like to thank the audience as well for a very lively and very good discussion today. Let me invite you to a light lunch on the opposite of this hall, and I'd like to announce another event of this afternoon. There will be an event organized by the Global Crop Diversity Trust, which is entitled "The Role of Plant Genetic Resources for Food Security and Sustainable Agriculture." You are invited to take part in this event and to have a light lunch together with us. Thank you very much for having come. For those who will travel, have a safe journey back home, and those who will stay in Berlin, enjoy Berlin even when a thunderstorm is approaching. Bye-bye.